I never thought I would be the person sitting across from someone I loved deeply hearing those dreaded words. 2 years with Savannah had felt like building a future until that sunny Tuesday at our favorite coffee shop when everything changed. The look in her eyes told me what was coming before she even spoke. When she finally said, "I think we should just be friends," I surprised both of us by simply responding, "Perfect." The confusion that flashed across her face was just the beginning of what would become the most unexpected chapter of our story. Before I continue, drop a comment letting me know if you have ever been friend-zoned after a serious relationship, and hit subscribe if you want more stories about relationships that take unexpected turns. I met Savannah at my college roommate's birthday party 3 years ago. I was getting another drink when someone bumped into me, nearly spilling my beer. "Oh my God, I am so sorry," she said, steadying my arm with her hand. I turned around and saw the most stunning woman with wavy brown hair and green eyes that seemed to catch all the light in the room. "No harm done," I replied, extending my hand. "I am Ethan, Savannah," she smiled, shaking my hand a second too long. "Are you a friend of Taylor?" We spent the rest of the night talking in a corner, discovering we both loved the same obscure indie band and had hiked the same remote trail in Washington state. By the end of the night, I had her number and a first date planned for that weekend. Our first date was at a small art gallery featuring local photographers. She worked in marketing but had a passion for photography. I watched her face light up as she analyzed each composition, occasionally grabbing my arm to point out something particularly impressive. "This one makes me feel like I am right there in that moment," she said, pointing to a black and white landscape. "That is what great art should do, transport you." I was already being transported, but not by the photographs. Our relationship progressed quickly after that. Weekend trips to the coast, cooking dinner together while dancing around my small kitchen, staying up until 3 in the morning talking about everything from childhood memories to our biggest fears. "I have never felt this comfortable with anyone," she told me one night as we lay under the stars on my apartment rooftop. "It scares me sometimes." "Why would it scare you?" I asked, turning to face her. "Because when something feels this good, I am always waiting for it to end." I should have recognized that as the first red flag, but instead I pulled her closer and promised her it would not end. I was terribly wrong. After 1 year together, we decided to move in. My lease was ending and her roommate was moving out with her boyfriend. "It just makes sense," she reasoned. "We spend every night together anyway." Moving day was both exhausting and exhilarating. Our friends helped haul furniture up 3 flights of stairs, and we ordered pizza for everyone as payment. That night, after everyone left, we sat on our couch in our apartment, and I felt complete. "To us," I said, clinking my wine glass against hers. "To us," she echoed, but her smile did not quite reach her eyes. The first 6 months of living together were everything I hoped for. Coming home to her, building a life together, making plans for the future. But slowly things began to change. It started with small things I barely noticed at first. She stopped greeting me with a kiss when I came home from work. Our conversations over dinner became shorter, more about logistics than connection. Date nights became less frequent, often canceled last minute because she was too tired or had a work emergency. I noticed she was spending more time with her friends, especially her best friend Jess. Whenever I asked about their plans, her answers were vague. "Just girl time," she would say with a shrug. I tried everything to fix whatever was breaking between us. I planned surprise weekend getaways, cooked her favorite meals, and initiated conversations about our relationship. "Is everything okay with us?" I asked one night after she had been particularly distant. "Of course," she said, not looking up from her phone. "Why would you ask that? You just seem somewhere else lately." "I am just stressed about work," she replied, finally meeting my eyes. Nothing to worry about. But there was plenty to worry about. The night before everything fell apart, I overheard her on the phone in our bedroom. I had come home early from a work event and paused outside the door when I heard my name. "I just do not know how to tell him," she was saying. "No, it is not that simple. I know I need to do it soon." My heart sank. I quietly walked back out and drove around for an hour before returning, pretending I had just arrived. That night, she suggested we get coffee at our favorite spot the next day. The coffee shop where she ended things was ironically where we had our third date. I remembered how she had laughed so hard that day that coffee came out of her nose. Now she sat across from me, fidgeting with her cup sleeve, barely making eye contact. "Ethan," she started, her voice steady but quiet. "I have been doing a lot of thinking about us, about where we are headed." I knew what was coming, but I let her continue. "You are amazing, and these 2 years have been incredible, but I think I think we should just be friends. Inside, I felt like I was free-falling. 2 years, countless memories, a shared apartment, plans for the future, all reduced to just friends. But externally, I remained calm. I thought about the phone call, her growing distance, and all the signs I had been trying to ignore. In that moment, something shifted in me. "Perfect," I said, my voice even. Her eyes widened slightly. "Perfect, yes. If that is what you want, then we can be friends." "You are not upset?" she asked, looking genuinely confused. "I am sad, of course, but I respect your decision." The drive home was silent and tense. She kept glancing at me as if waiting for an outburst that never came. When we got home, I simply said I would start looking for a new place and asked about how she wanted to handle our shared belongings. Her responses were hesitant, as if she had not actually thought that far ahead. Finding a new apartment was easier than I expected. My friend had a spare room I could rent temporarily while I figured things out. Moving out was another story. Every object we had to divide felt like dissecting our relationship piece by piece. "Do you want the coffee maker?" she asked as I packed my clothes. "You can keep it," I replied. "You use it more." "What about the prints we bought in Portland? You choose first." She seemed increasingly agitated by my calm demeanor. When I finished packing my essentials and prepared to leave, she stood awkwardly by the door. "So, we will talk soon?" she asked. "Sure," I nodded. "Take care, Savannah." Once I was settled in my temporary home, I took some time to reflect on what being just friends actually meant. Savannah and I had been friends before we started dating, but our friendship had been completely absorbed by our romantic relationship. Now I needed to redefine those boundaries. I made a mental inventory of how I treated my actual friends. I did not text them good morning or good night. I did not drop everything to help them with minor inconveniences. I did not pay for their meals or streaming services. I did not provide emotional support at all hours. I certainly did not prioritize their needs above my own. So I began implementing these same boundaries with Savannah. When she texted me at midnight asking if I was awake, I responded the next morning with a casual, "Hey, saw this late." "What is up?" When she asked if I could still help her set up her new work laptop, because you know how bad I am with technology, I politely suggested she contact IT support. I canceled our shared Netflix account and created my own. I stopped picking up her favorite snacks when I saw them at the store. I declined invitations to help her with household tasks that any friend would reasonably hire someone to do. Her confusion was evident in her increasingly frequent messages. "Are you mad at me?" she texted 3 weeks after our breakup. "Not at all," I replied. "Why do you ask? You just seem different. I am respecting the boundaries of our friendship as you requested." Our friend group situations were the most challenging. The first time we were both invited to a dinner party, I could feel her watching me across the room. I was polite but not overly attentive. When she mentioned needing a ride home, I suggested splitting an Uber with another friend who lived in her direction, explaining I was heading the opposite way. As the weeks passed, her attempts to maintain certain aspects of our relationship became more obvious. She would call with emergencies that were merely inconveniences. She would reference inside jokes and memories trying to recreate our former intimacy. Each time I responded with friendly but firm boundaries. The furniture incident was particularly telling. She called one Saturday morning asking if I could help move her new couch up to her apartment, since you know how those delivery guys just leave everything downstairs. "Sorry, I have plans today," I said truthfully. "But I can send you the contact for the moving service I used when I moved. They are really affordable for small jobs like that." The silence on her end spoke volumes. "But it would just take you an hour," she finally said. "I understand, but I already have commitments. The movers are really great, though." After I hung up, I felt a strange mixture of guilt and liberation. I was not being unkind, I was simply being a friend, exactly as she had requested. A few days later, I received a text from Jess, Savannah's best friend. "Hey, would you want to grab coffee sometime just to check in?" I was surprised but agreed.